You haven't lived until your day starts with someone calling 911 on you when you're literally parked in your own damn driveway. Picture this: sun's not even up. You're barely awake, engine's still rumbling, and suddenly your neighbor comes storming across your lawn in what looks like a silk bathrobe she bought with someone else's credit card, pounding your window like you just broke into her house. "Move this junk or I'm calling the cops." That's what she says. Not a hello, not even a nice truck, just straight to threats. And you know what? I didn't argue. I didn't even roll my eyes. I watched her do it, dial 911 with her perfume burning my nostrils through the cracked window gravel, still crunching under my tires, and this smug little smile on her lips like she already knew she'd won. 5 minutes later, a patrol car rolls up. Officer steps out, glances at her, then at me. "Morning, Chief." And I swear you could see every drop of blood drain from Cassidy's face like she might just pass out right there on my lawn. And honestly, that was just the start. Ever have a neighbor call the cops on you for something that's not even close to illegal? Tell me your story in the comments, because trust me, this one didn't stop with a warning. It ended with the feds eyeballing every single thing Cassidy touched. All right, let me back up a sec. Name's Garrett Boone, but friends call me Bo. I'm 43, been wearing a badge since my 20s, and 6 months ago, they pinned chief of police on me for Willow Ridge County. Not exactly Chicago, but it's home. 32 officers, a handful of detectives, enough paperwork to sink a boat. I grew up here. Know every street, every squeaky screen door, every neighbor. When Mom passed, I bought her old ranch house, a classic 60s build, chain link fences, big oaks, dropping leaves all over. The driveway's got this funky L shape, and for years my mom let folks use the end to turn around. Kept that tradition until Cassidy Whitmore moved in next door. Now Cassidy's the type, platinum hair that could outlast a tornado, always clicking away on her phone, working some luxury real estate hustle, driving a Mercedes I'd bet money she can't afford. She bought that white columned colonial next door, instantly acting like she owned the block. First week she knocks on my door, smile tight as a drum. "Your oak tree's dropping leaves in my yard. Trim it back." I remember just standing there, hand on the bark, feeling that rough old wood, 100 years old, standing right on the line. "Tell you what," I said, "I'll rake your yard every week if you want." She just narrows her eyes. "I'm sure we can find a more permanent solution." And trust me, that was just the beginning. 3 weeks in, I come home from a night shift, cold coffee in the cup holder park, my old '85 Bronco in the driveway like always. 47 minutes later, Cassidy's pounding on my door in that same silk robe. "Your truck is an eyesore. Park it in the garage or on the street." I just shake my head. "Ma'am, this is my driveway. No HOA. Everything's legal." But nope, she's got clients coming, says my Bronco's tanking her property value. She storms off, heels clicking like gunshots. I figured that was it. Oh, but she wasn't done. That evening, I come back from the store park in the same spot, and here she comes, phone already in hand, dialing 911. "Ma'am, this is my property," I tell her. "Not breaking any laws." She ignores me, raising her voice. There's a suspicious vehicle blocking access, and I feel threatened. I recognize the dispatcher. Stella Solid, been at it 15 years. There's a pause when she hears my address. So I call non-emergency myself. "Stella, it's Bo. Send someone out. Let's get this on record." Cassidy's eyes go even thinner. "You're lying." 10 minutes later, Officer McNally pulls up my old partner, takes her statement, then turns to me. "Chief, you need anything else?" That word chief just hangs in the air. Cassidy freezes. "Chief." "Yes, ma'am?" "You just called 911 on the chief of police for parking legally in his own driveway." She starts demanding his supervisor. McNally's face totally professional. "Ma'am, you're looking at him." After McNally leaves, Cassidy's still in her driveway, streetlight buzzing overhead, sprinkler hissing in the distance. She gives me this cold, tight smile. "You think a badge makes you special? I know people. Important people. This isn't over." Heels firing back to her porch. That's when it hits me. She isn't going to stop. I open my laptop, start a file, dates, times, witnesses, photos. My gut's telling me I'm going to need all of it. Next 10 days, Cassidy goes from annoying to strategic. No more parking complaints, she switches tactics. Saturday, I'm mowing my lawn, electric mower, quieter than my grandma's vacuum, phone buzzes. "Dispatch, chief, noise complaint at your address." I kill the engine already knowing. "You're serious?" "Wish I wasn't," Ramirez tells me. Caller says you're violating noise ordinance. 10 a.m. on a Saturday, legal hours start at 9. Cassidy's curtain twitches just enough to let me know she's watching. I start a notebook date time complaint officer outcome. I have a feeling I'll be filling a lot of pages. 4 days later, I get home to find a stranger with survey equipment in my yard. Can I help you? Turns out Cassidy hired him. Didn't even give me a heads up, which is technically legal, but it's a move for a fight. She says your fence is 4 inches on her property. That fence has been there since '73. I pull my certified survey fresh crisp county seal and all. Here fence is exactly where it should be. The guy compares numbers, frowns, shrugs. You're right. I'll let her know. 2 days later I get certified mail. Cassidy demanding I move the fence or face legal action. My buddy, who's an attorney, drafts a response, attaches my survey original permit, and a little note to check her surveyor's credentials. I look up the company online, reviews are brutal. Turns out she hired a guy known for manufactured disputes. Seen it a dozen times on the force people shopping for the answer they want. Sunday I finish a weekend-long sprinkler install, save myself $1,200. Next afternoon 3 heads snapped clean off. Cassidy's out in her yard, sees me, notice, walks over. Oh, my landscaping crew must have stepped on them. Sorry. Her crew is her nephew with a weed whacker. I kneel, inspect footprints, deep and deliberate, not accidental. Clean breaks, somebody stomped them on purpose. I photograph everything, file a police report, have Deputy Chen document it, keep myself out of it completely. He gives me a look. This is harassment, Chief. Yeah, I know. That's why we document. 3 days later, Cassidy discovers Facebook. Never posted in the neighborhood group before, but now it's all concerned about authority figures intimidating neighbors. Where do we turn? No name, but her selfie with my house in the background says it all. A couple new folks like the post. But Mrs. Delacroix, retired teacher, shuts it down. Garrett Boone's lived here 43 years, never caused trouble. Maybe look inward, Cassidy. 15 neighbors pile on. Cassidy deletes the post, but I've got screenshots. That night, I lay out all the evidence on my kitchen table: complaints dismissed, bogus survey vandalism, social media attacks. Noticed every complaint comes when I'm in uniform coming home or heading out. She's documenting me trying to build a case. Friday, I find a manila envelope taped to my door, dozens of photos of me in uniform getting into my Bronco, handwritten note: public servants should set examples. I call dispatch request, every call made to my address in 30 days, public record. 11 calls, all Cassidy. My address is 73% of the calls for the street. 11 false reports, 0 legitimate. Binder's getting thick. And it's just getting started. Then Cassidy latches onto a politician, Brent Hollister, county supervisor, wannabe state senator, sold her the Mercedes, and she flirts her way into his office. Suddenly, I'm painted as a corrupt cop. Hollister leaks her ethics complaint to the paper before I even get official notice. Headline: police chief under investigation for neighbor dispute. I can't even defend myself publicly, department policy. So I stay quiet, but my binder's ready, 47 pages, every record, every log, photos, witnesses, even audio from her false 911 calls. Then an anonymous letter goes out to the city council. Chief uses department vehicles for errands. Turns out everyone was for actual police work. But the whole point is to keep me on defense, always explaining myself, death by 1,000 cuts. I finally catch her tailing me, white Mercedes, dented quarter panel, 3 cars back on Route 9. She's building a file on me too, but mine's got facts. 31 days and Mrs. Delacroix brings me a casserole and a tip. She overheard Cassidy telling people at an open house that the police chief is dangerous, driving property values up so she can flip her house for a profit. Light bulb moment, she'd listed her place asking $615,000 after paying $490,000 6 months before. She's manufacturing drama to cash out. Next, she tries to have my Bronco towed. Tow truck shows up at 3:00 a.m. Mrs. Delacroix calls me and I catch the driver mid-hookup. Work order's got Cassidy's signature. Attempted vehicle theft is still a crime, even if you try to call it a tow. I document, send the driver on his way. Day 38. The county board clears me, every allegation unfounded. But that exoneration gets 3 lines on page 7. The accusation got the front page. Some folks will always remember the headline, not the facts. That's when I dig into Cassidy's past. Public records lawsuits. Turns out she's been sued in 3 states for the same play: take deposits, make promises, disappear when it gets tough. Same scam, Newtown, every 2 years. And this time she picked the wrong neighbor. Cassidy's finances start to crack. Her mortgage is killing her. Mercedes is 2 months behind. Credit card debt is through the roof. That's when the real ugly starts. Mrs. Delacroix's Beagle Biscuit gets sick. Vet finds slug bait toxic but treatable. Before she's even home, Cassidy's on Facebook implying I poisoned the dog. But my doorbell cam catches her nephew spreading the bait in her own yard. Wind blows it into Mrs. Delacroix's. Evidence posted online, the neighborhood turns on Cassidy. The next level, she files an anonymous CPS report about my brother's twins playing in my backyard, tries to get my contractors to quit by spoofing my number, even steals my mail. Late fees, missed insurance, property tax, overdue. Mail theft is a federal crime, but she's clever, always staying just on the edge. So I dig deeper. Business records, court filings, mortgage applications. Find out she lied about her income to get her loan, a federal offense. Now I've got her. I call in a favor from an old FBI buddy, Agent Reeves. Send her everything. Turns out Cassidy's a serial con artist, same scheme 8 times in 5 states, always targets authority figures, always flips houses fast. FBI and DA build parallel cases, federal mortgage fraud, state harassment. My job is to play the defeated neighbor. Let her get bold, make mistakes. Cameras go up, neighbors join forces, every move is documented. Cassidy escalates, vandalizes my truck, attempts a break-in, even fakes security footage. But every lie just adds more charges. Then comes the town council meeting. Cassidy plans a public spectacle, accuses me of everything from intimidation to vandalism, shows doctored slides, whips up the crowd. But mid-speech, the FBI walks in, cuffs ready. Cassidy Whitmore, you're under arrest for wire fraud, bank fraud, and making false statements to federally insured institutions. The room goes dead silent, TV cameras rolling, neighbors stunned, Cassidy screaming she's being set up. Agent Reeves lays it all out, multi-state investigation, boxes of evidence wheeled in for all to see. I step up, submit city docs, proving my innocence, call logs, witness statements, everything. The room erupts in applause. Mrs. Delacroix stands up. Garrett Boone's a good man, that woman's a con artist. DA files state charges on the spot. The weight finally lifts. Cassidy sits in county jail, denied bail as a flight risk. Federal charges, state charges, restitution ordered over $1 million to victims. Her house goes into foreclosure. The Oconquos buy it for family enemy territory turned into home. Neighborhood throws a block party, kids playing in my driveway, laughter where there used to be stress. Reporter Worth's investigation goes viral, national conversation about real estate scams starts up. Months later, life's peaceful again. Security cameras stay up just in case, but the tension's gone. Started a non-profit with restitution funds. Good Neighbor Fund, helping other victims document harassment. Mrs. Delacroix has a plaque made, Freedom Driveway, established 2025 park where you live. The message sticks. 9 months down the line, Cassidy pleads guilty, 6 years in federal prison, millions in restitution. At her sentencing, she blames everyone but herself. I give my victim statement, not angry, just relieved. The neighborhood thrives. Block parties are annual now. Bronco parked in the same old spot, no second thoughts. And you know, that first morning still sticks with me, how she tried to make me small in my own home, but ended up turning our street into a family. Karma's funny that way, right? Just when you think justice is a myth, sometimes it shows up with a badge, a camera, and a very thick binder. So let me ask you, ever had an entitled neighbor, a nightmare, HOA, or a wild property dispute? Drop your story in the comments. Craziest one gets featured next week. And if you love seeing karma served with a side of poetic justice, hit that subscribe. Next week's story, the landlord who tried to evict a tenant for using too much water didn't know the tenant was an environmental lawyer with EPA connections. You won't believe how that ends. Park where you live, know your rights, build your community.